It was a quiet Tuesday evening in Chicago. The rain tapped gently against the apartment window as Sarah Mitchell, a 42-year-old single mother, sat on her couch scrolling through her phone. Her 12-year-old son, Jason, was doing his homework on the dining table. Everything felt normal, peaceful, safe. Then her phone buzzed. Transaction alert, $2,350 charged at TechWorld Electronics, New York. Sarah frowned. She stared at the screen. New York. She had never been to New York in her life. She quickly opened her banking app. Another alert popped up. $1,120, luxury fashion store $870, online gaming purchase $3,400, airline ticket purchase. Her heart stopped. Her hands began to shake. She whispered, "Jason, come here." Jason walked over slowly. "Mom, what's wrong?" Sarah looked at him with fear in her eyes. "Someone is using my credit card." Before we continue, if you love emotional true crime stories like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a shocking real-life story. The next morning, Sarah rushed to her bank. She sat across from a young customer service officer. "I didn't make these transactions," Sarah said nervously. The officer typed on his computer. After a few minutes, he spoke calmly. "Ma'am, according to our system, these transactions were made using your card details and verified with your security code." Sarah blinked. "What do you mean?" He turned the screen toward her. "All purchases were authenticated." Her stomach dropped. "But I never shared my card." The officer shrugged slightly. "In cases like this, the bank will investigate. However, you may still be responsible for the charges if there is no proof of fraud." Sarah's face turned pale. "Responsible?" "Yes, ma'am. You may have to pay the debt." Her voice trembled. "But someone stole my card information." The officer leaned back and said something that would haunt her for months. "This happens more often than people think." Within 2 weeks, Sarah's life began to collapse. Her credit card limit was maxed out. Her savings account was frozen for investigation. Her credit score dropped. Bills started piling up. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't eat. One night, she sat alone in the kitchen crying silently. Jason walked in. "Mom, are we going to lose the house?" Sarah wiped her tears. "No, baby." But deep inside, she wasn't sure. The bank kept sending emails. "Payment due, $7,740 late fee applied, final notice." Sarah felt betrayed. She trusted the bank. She trusted the system. But now, she was fighting alone. If this story is touching you already, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. It helps bring more real-life stories like this to light and protects others from becoming victims. One evening, Sarah received a call. "Hello, is this Sarah Mitchell?" "Yes. This is Detective Robert Hayes from the Financial Crimes Unit." Her heart raced. "We're investigating a large credit card fraud network," he said. Sarah sat upright. "What does that have to do with me?" The detective paused. "Your card was used by a fraud ring we are tracking." Sarah felt a mix of fear and relief. "So, I'm a victim?" "Yes. But there's something you should know." Sarah held her breath. The fraud did not start in New York. It started inside your bank. Sarah's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" The detective spoke carefully. "Someone inside the bank leaked customer card information." Sarah felt cold. "You mean, an employee?" "Yes." The detective continued. "This employee was selling credit card details to a fraud network." Sarah's hands began to shake. They sold hundreds of customer records. Names. Addresses. Card numbers. Security codes. Sarah whispered, "So the bank knew." The detective sighed. They suspected something. But they didn't inform customers immediately. Sarah's voice broke. "They knew, and still made me pay." "Yes. This is the shocking truth banks don't usually tell customers." If you want more real-life investigations like this, subscribe and turn on the notification bell right now. 2 months later, the FBI raided an apartment in New York. Inside, they found computers, credit card cloning machines, and stolen identities. One of the suspects confessed. "We buy card information from insiders." "How much?" the FBI asked. $20 per card. Sarah's entire financial life was sold for just $20. The suspect continued. "We run transactions fast before banks react. Thousands of dollars in hours." And banks usually blame customers first. The FBI agents exchanged serious looks, because they knew it was true. Sarah later received a letter. Official fraud investigation update. It confirmed everything. The bank employee had been arrested. Over 2,000 customers were affected. But the most shocking part was at the bottom. The bank will not publicly disclose the breach to avoid reputational damage. Sarah felt anger rise inside her. They want to hide this. The detective nodded. Banks fear losing customer trust. So they settle cases quietly. Sarah whispered, and victims suffer in silence. One night, Sarah sat in her car outside her apartment. She stared at the steering wheel. Her bills were still unpaid, her credit was still damaged, her life was still broken. Tears rolled down her face. She whispered, "I did nothing wrong." At that moment, Jason knocked on the car window. "Mom, please come inside." She opened the door and hugged him tightly. "I'm trying, baby." Jason hugged her back. "You're strong, Mom." That night, Sarah decided she would fight. If you believe victims deserve justice, subscribe to this channel and share this story so more people understand the dangers of credit card fraud. Sarah hired a lawyer. The case went to court. The bank's lawyers argued, "We followed procedure." Sarah's lawyer responded, "You failed to protect customer data." The courtroom was silent. The judge reviewed the evidence. Internal emails showed the bank knew about the breach weeks before informing authorities. That changed everything. The judge spoke firmly. The bank is liable for negligence. Sarah held her breath. 3 months later, the verdict came. The bank was ordered to clear Sarah's debt, restore her credit score, pay financial damages, compensate emotional distress. Sarah cried in relief. For the first time in months, she could breathe. The detective shook her hand. "You fought bravely." Sarah smiled weakly. "I fought because I had no choice." Today, Sarah speaks publicly about her experience. She warns people everywhere. Your credit card information is not as safe as you think. Banks don't always tell the full truth. Fraud can happen to anyone. She now teaches financial awareness in her community, helping people protect their money, helping families avoid pain, helping victims find their voice, because sometimes the system only changes when someone refuses to stay silent. Credit card fraud is real. It destroys lives. It creates debt. It causes emotional trauma. And sometimes, the biggest danger is not the criminals, but the silence behind the system. Sarah's story is a reminder. Always monitor your credit card. Always question suspicious charges. Always demand transparency, because your financial safety depends on it. If this story opened your eyes, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Subscribe for more emotional and shocking true-life crime stories every week. And remember, staying informed could save your life and your money.